this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean. No,
good morning, everyone.
I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make of lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Okay, thank you guys for being here tonight. I hope everybody can hear me clearly there. There we go. Hey, it's Friday, y'all. TGIF, if you're out there, if you're religious, you can just thank me. If you sneeze, say Rico bless you. It's all good. It's all the same. Ain't nothing changed. Thank you guys for being here. We know that we are grateful to live this life. Shout out to Kim Jones. She's out here unpacking in the background. Usually she's out there checking the chat, making sure everybody knows what's going on. I'm going to drag something in the window here so you guys can see it here in a second. First thing I want to do to start off the show tonight is to say congratulations to my boy Howard. He just had himself a girl. Howard has a beautiful wife, Serena. I want to make sure I don't have to show you guys all that. But here's his baby girl. Shout out to her. Her name is Lillian Rose Hall. Shout out to Howie. Congratulations. And as you guys can see, he sent me pictures of the baby, and the first thing I said was, congrats, she looks just like me. Just so you know, I'm responsible. Thank you, Howard, for raising the kids. I appreciate you, brother. I couldn't live my life without you, man. Thanks for keeping them busy. All right, now to the show. Today's the day. It's Friday. We got till 6:45 before this show has to end. So we got an hour and 45 minutes to do this damn thing because we got a lot of important games to watch tonight. It is Friday. It's high school football. I'm going to show you guys how to watch high school football with me. Let me show you this real quick. I've got it up already. GPB Sports. You go to gpb.org, not .com, not .net, .org, O-R-G. GPB, Georgia Public Broadcasting Sports. The game of the week tonight, it's going to start at 7:30, usually, 7:30. Cedar Grove versus Westlake. Pay attention. Cedar Grove, been in the state title 5 out of the last 7 years. Has a ton of Division I players, FBS level players. They just lost last week to Monarch out of Florida, but doesn't change the fact that Cedar Grove's got players. They're a 3A school, and they're playing Westlake, a 6A school. Now, Westlake is a perennial power. Westlake, you might know one of their alumni. You can pick any number one of them, but let's go with Cam Newton. Okay? Westlake has a track team. Westlake is incredibly fast. They are monsters. I want to see them win tonight by 30. I want there to be a real wake-up call for anybody out there who doubts Georgia football. Come watch two of the best teams in the country. You can watch it for free on the internet. You just watch it on demand. All you got to do is come click the link. You go over here up top. You just say watch now. You can watch it anywhere in the world for free, y'all. You don't have to do anything else. Just on demand right there. This little tab right here. You can watch it on your phone. There's a GPB Sports app. This is what I watch. I watch some of the greatest high school football in the country, and it starts with this game right here. And then as the time zones go, I watch a game out of Texas after this one, and then I watch a game out of California late at night. Shout out to Modern Day, right? But this is where it's at, y'all. Seriously, Westlake, Cedar Grove, this is what I'm watching at 7:30 tonight. I'm excited. High school football on Fridays, I'm excited. Hope you guys join me. gpb.org. One game a week. They usually have another game you can watch. They have another game, but it doesn't have announcers. This one has announcers. Very, very good. I'm excited. Westlake is the truth. Westlake has a guy, the anchor on their 4x1 team. By the way, their 4x1 team runs like a 40-second flat 400 meters. That's incredibly fast. I want to say they're sub 41, and their anchor is a linebacker going to Tennessee. Like, he's damn 6'3", 210, and he's out here running 100 meters under 11 seconds for sure. Okay? And now, in trending news today, before we get to PAC12, today is PAC12, but let's talk about the trending news going on today. The ACC. The ACC. They just added Stanford, Cal, and SMU. Starting in 24 to 25. So it's 23 to 24 right now. That's next season. We've got Cal, SMU, and Stanford going to the ACC. Congratulations to all three of these programs for finding some life, finding a TV contract that helps. But let's talk about it. They say that SMU is willing to forfeit 9 years of TV revenue for SMU to get the invite. They said, give us 9 years to prove we're worth a TV contract with you guys. Just let us in. You guys, this is the equivalent of getting your dream job and telling your boss, don't pay me. I want to show you that I can do this. This is an internship. And after 9 years, then you're going to finally get paid? That sounds crazy to me, bro. I can't do that much work without getting paid. If they're getting $30 million a year, that's $270 million SMU's got to come up with in lost revenue to maintain their competitive edge. Remember, if you're in the ACC, they split revenue evenly. And the biggest complaint that Florida State has is, hey, we're a top 10 revenue-producing school, yet we don't get top 10 money because we got to split it with all you guys. How are we supposed to keep up with all the other top 10 programs when we're having to give you all of our proceeds and split it with Wake Forest and split it with Syracuse? Why are we even with everybody else if we produce the most amount of money? That's what they keep saying. SMU is saying, bro, let us in. We don't give a shit what we help earn. We don't care what you guys sign for. We don't want any part of it for 9 years. That means they got real boosters. And it also means they're incredibly desperate to be a part of the ACC. They're incredibly desperate. This is their one opportunity to get out of purgatory, to get out of that group of 5 label that they've had for the last 35 years. You guys got to remember, SMU was a part of the Southwest Conference, the SWC, back in the late 80s. Obviously, 1987, they were banned with the death penalty. And once 92 came along and Arkansas left the SWC to go to the SEC, SWC merged with the Big 8, created the Big 12, and 4 teams were left out. And that was Rice, TCU, Houston, and SMU. Almost forgot the teams. Rice, TCU, Houston, and SMU. And obviously, TCU and Houston have worked their way back into the Big 12. But Rice has been left out the whole time, and shout out to SMU. They've been left out the whole time. So 30 years of nonsense, they're willing to just say, hey, we'll do another 9 years. But as long as we're associated with you guys, we'll be fine. It's going to help with recruiting. I'm excited for them. Don't worry about the travel. Everybody always says, the travel, Rico, the baseball teams and the Olympic sports. And, Rico, what about the volleyball team having to travel? What? Hawaii flies further than everybody, bro. Don't get it twisted. Hawaii's a longer flight than any of these. And Hawaii doesn't have issue. Their teams are just fine. There's no travel concerns for any. Where's the outrage and concern for Hawaii when they got to fly to the mainland? Have you ever done that flight from Hawaii to America? They got sports. They got all sports. Hawaii's flying everywhere. Notre Dame, their baseball team, they're flying to Miami, bro. Come on. It's gross when people start just coming up with reasons to come up with why this isn't going to work. It's the whole country. I can't believe this whole country thing. You ever heard of the Pioneer Football League? That shit is FCS level for 10 years now. It's been going from Pennsylvania. No, it's been going from New York to California. Shout out to Pittsburgh, California. I wish people knew what the hell was going on. Nonetheless, congratulations to the ACC getting new additions. Speaking of new addition, Nick Saban says our starting quarterback's going to be Jalen Milroe. Congratulations, Jalen Milroe. You're going to go out there, do your best Jalen Hurts impersonation. He is an athletic quarterback. It's Middle Tennessee State. Don't get too excited. But that really sucks for Tyler Buckner. You go and transfer from Notre Dame. You could have picked any program in America. You picked Alabama to go sit the bench. You could have been starting anywhere, bro. Never trust your offensive coordinator who got a new job somewhere else. These guys are lying to you. This is why you can't be transferring there. Put Tyler Buckner down with Jacob Conover, Daniel Richardson, Bo Allen, Lamson at Stanford. I'm talking about quarterbacks who transferred from a second-string backup position to a second-string backup position. You transfer to a new school, and you're still backing up the starter. It doesn't make any sense. If you were going to you should have just stayed at your old school. Finish your degree. Oh, well. Seahawks released a notable quarterback. Here we go. I was excited. Holton Ahlers did sign to the practice squad. It was short-lived. I've been telling you guys about this every single night. In the NFL, you get signed to a practice squad, that doesn't mean anything. They're going to sign other guys to the practice squad and cut you before the first paycheck. Holton Ahlers, he's just a fringe quarterback right there, about to make it. They say he's got a pea shooter of an arm. All you guys can kind of relate. You got pea shooters in your pants, but it's equivalent to his arm strength. So Holton Ahlers, cut, no longer on the team. Sucks, man, because I want to see him do well. So maybe we'll see him in the XFL, USFL, or another team might sign him if there's an injury going down to their practice squad. Keep an eye out for Holton Ahlers, the former East Carolina quarterback. Shout out to USC. They got a problem, guys. They have dropped Raleek Brown from the depth chart. This is a Pac-12 conversation right now. USC is so loaded that they dropped Raleek Brown from the depth chart. Let me tell you how this hurts, guys. Raleek Brown is so real. Raleek Brown is the truth. And when he committed, he's from Mater Dei, by the way. Looks like Reggie Bush when he runs. Incredibly fast. Just a beast of a player. Goes to Mater Dei, one of the top running backs in the country. He's committed to Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley gets hired by USC. Boom. Here you go. Raleek Brown switches to USC. So he flips to USC, goes to USC, and his freshman year, last year, he played great. He was like the third running back, but he was great. Explosive, change of pace back. Looked amazing. They go and sign Marshawn Lloyd in the transfer portal this offseason, the leading rusher from South Carolina, right? So Marshawn Lloyd's on the other side of the damn country, leading South Carolina in rushing in the SEC, and he transfers to USC to be another power back, change of pace back, explosive back. These are great backs. USC tells Raleek Brown, hey, man, if you want to see the field more, you got to move to wide receiver. They move him to slot receiver. Holy shit, they got a ton of guys at wide receiver. Did he not pay attention when a 5-star wide receiver hit the transfer portal in Kyle Ford to go to UCLA, or when 2 4-star wide receivers left to go to Wisconsin and Oregon. C.J. Williams couldn't even see the field. 4-star out of Mater Dei. He's your teammate from high school, bro. You know that if he can't start a receiver, how the hell are you going to start a receiver? C.J. Williams is starting at Wisconsin right now. So Raleek Brown doesn't get in the game until the fourth quarter, with all the backups in a blowout over San Jose State, and he gets 1 reception for 14 yards. This is a dynamite player. I'm calling it right now, guys. I'm calling it right now. Raleek Brown plays in 4 games this season, saves his red shirt, utilizes his red shirt, and hits the portal. I'm calling it right now. And Lincoln Riley said something, I'm reading this story, and he says, Raleek's a really good player, but there are really good players here. The margins are really, really thin between a lot of guys. I would just encourage him, and I would just like I would the entire team. No special treatment, no nothing. We're trying to get him involved. We're going to get him his touches. None of that shit. He just said he's like everybody else out there. He's going to be a tremendous player. If I start going down the names of guys I've had play reps on scout team, because now he's on scout team. Now he's just a practice player. He's claiming, in the past, I've had guys on scout team who eventually developed into draft picks, right? Especially in the process of trying to get to a new position, all this shit. Bro, you cannot go to a new position group like wide receiver if they're going to bring in Dorian Singer in the transfer portal every year. And they're going to bring in the Biletnikoff winner from another team. Or they got Zachariah Branch coming in, the number 1 wide receiver in the whole country. How do you keep up with that if you are a running back and they want you to be a receiver? This isn't Notre Dame. This isn't Tyree moving over. At Notre Dame, they did it with Tyree. Their third running back moved to wide receiver, and he's getting reps. Yeah, Notre Dame's got true freshman Jaden Greathouse. Like, they don't have the depth that USC has. So we got a kid in Raleek Brown, assed out, nowhere to go, and I think plays 4 games this year and hits the transfer portal. And let me tell you, the very best player to hit the transfer portal would be Raleek Brown. I don't care who else hits the portal. That's how good this kid is. He's a superstar. But you're choosing to give the ball to transfers to appease them because you made promises to them. You made promises to these transfers. That's why they came over. It's the only reason you won these guys over in the transfer portal. Why would the leading rusher from South Carolina leave his team to go all the way across the country? You think because he wants to play with Caleb? No, it's not because he wants to play with Caleb. It's because he was told in the recruiting pitch, hey, man, you come out here, we're going to make you one of our 2 backs. We're going to have 1A and 1B. You can lead us in rushing. But what about Raleek Brown? Oh, don't worry about it. We're going to make him move to a different position. All right, cool. It's insane. Shout out to Raleek Brown. I wish him the best. Best player I've seen just get shafted. All right, let's talk about last night's games before I get into the Pac-12. Last night, UCF stomps out Kent State. I told you guys they would. Kent State is absolutely atrocious. I said I'm not going to take the over because I didn't think Kent State would score, but I didn't know UCF was going to put up 56. Kent State is one of the worst teams in America. I knew this going in. They lost everybody. Shout out to Kenny Burns. Good luck. He's doing his best. He's trying his best. He did get the transfer, their quarterback last night. I'm forgetting his name right now. Michael, he's from Jersey. Let me see the box score real quick. I'll come back to it. He's a transfer, and Alamo. That's why I said Michael Alamo. And Michael Alamo is a Purdue transfer, 6'4", and very, very good player. They relied on him way too much, and when you're behind, you start throwing a lot. 31 attempts. This is really bad, 12 for 31. It looks like Anthony Richardson out there without the mobility. But they have nothing at Kent State. Absolutely nothing. And we knew that going in. As far as UCF, though, they got Johnny Football, bro. UCF has Johnny Football at quarterback. Shout out to Michael. What the hell am I saying? John Rice Plumlee. John Rice Plumlee, if you don't remember, he's the guy who went for over 200 yards his freshman year against LSU, the number 1 team in the country, while he was the Ole Miss quarterback. As a freshman, he rushed for over 1,000 yards. So I really like UCF. They look stud. Townsend looked uncoverable. Richardson looked great. He wasn't even the star back, but they brought him in. Good stuff. Georgia State. This game, initially Georgia State had a huge lead, and then Rhode Island came back. I'm going to tell you why Rhode Island was so good. I told you guys, Rhode Island's a good FCS school. Yeah. You see that guy over there? His name is Hill. Kasim Hill. Hill used to play quarterback at a school named Maryland. And Hill has been in college for like 5 years. This is his 6th year. So Hill put up 400 yards in a losing effort. 400 yards, 4 touchdowns. But that's an FBS caliber athlete. So good. Remember the name. Kasim Hill, I really think he's going to be great. One of the best transfers I saw. Shout out to Darren Granger, the Georgia State quarterback. He played well. Western Michigan beat St. Francis like I said they would, but I was really surprised. Western Michigan went with Buckley at running back, not the transfer from Virginia Tech. That's pretty surprising to me, but he dominated. 30 carries, 194 yards. It looks like they just have a good system. They know what they're doing there. North Carolina State struggled with UConn. I don't care what the score says. 24-14. Armstrong sucks. I told you guys this kid sucks. Armstrong was less than desirable at best. I couldn't believe they kept interviewing him like he did some shit. This guy, he rushed for almost 100 yards. But that's just ridiculous. He is not it. Talked about Rosa, though. Did you guys see Rosa? Rosa's a true sophomore running back. They say he runs 23 miles an hour. He's yoked. He's so and he did really good last year as a true freshman, but that boy is thick. Pause. And he went out there. I think he broke for like an 80-yard run at some point. But other than that, UConn made some terrible mistakes. They have no receivers. They lost them all in the transfer portal. So NC State creeps out of there with a win, but was not impressed with NC State. And I actually think UConn looked. They didn't look hapless. They looked fine. The game of the night, Minnesota beating Nebraska. We're talking about two teams going in opposite directions. And what I mean by that is I feel like Nebraska's going south. Minnesota's going south and Nebraska's going up. Nebraska should be very encouraged by that performance last night. Yes, your quarterback threw 3 interceptions. One of them off of his back foot. It looked terrible. But he didn't give up more than 10 yards a reception from anybody. You held the other team to 2 yards a rush. He just had silly mistakes. You looked great, but you just didn't play well. And losing one-possession games has been Nebraska's issue for the last 5 years now. But I just feel like Matt Rule's going to get this shit together. He's going to get it going. And PJ, what are we doing? PJ, they should be concerned. They should be concerned. They did not do what they should have been doing last night. They won the game, so a win's a win. But I'd imagine film session's going to suck for these guys. They were awful. Shout out to Jackson for his toe drag. Missouri, if you watch the game against Missouri and South Dakota, Missouri looked fast, very dominant. Obviously, they're playing South Dakota. But it looks like Brady Cook's the quarterback, and I like that. I told you guys I'm a big Brady Cook guy. Luther Burden looked shifty out there, human joystick, and Schrader looked fast and strong. So, obviously, they look good. Missouri looks the part. I'm excited for them. Let's see what they can keep doing. Tulsa, I was totally surprised. I even made a video about this, guys. Tulsa, starting quarterback, Braylon Braxton, one of the best dual-threat quarterbacks in the country, I told you, goes out there and stinks it up. He throws an interception on the first series. Second series, throws another interception. What are we doing? It's Arkansas Pine Bluff. It's Arkansas Pine Bluff University. You can't get it right? So then they take him out the game. They said he had an ankle injury. No, bro. He had a throwing injury. And in comes Cardell Williams, and the rest is history. Williams goes out there and balls out. This is a redshirt freshman out of Houston, Texas. 3 touchdowns, 233 yards. I think he went 11 for 13, only two incompletions, and they blew him out. And everybody's going, well, Rico, what's the big deal? Shout out to Ford, by the way, JUCO running back over 100 yards. Rico, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is you might have a quarterback battle. And with a new coach, Kevin Wilson, the new coach, he might not be like, yo, I'm going to let them all figure it out. We're going to go back to our comment. Nah, he might put in a new guy. The most impressive performance of the night, UAB, North Carolina A&T. North Carolina A&T was sacked 6 times, and they only threw it 8 times. They only dropped back to pass 8 times, 6 sacks. They completed 2 passes all night. And Jacob Zeno, a transfer, okay, Zeno's a transfer as well, coming over from Baylor, but 2 years ago. Zeno balls out. You can't do what Zeno did. You can't do it against air. Zeno was 38 for 41.
The Roche-Posay sunscreen blocks up to
Hold up, man.
98% of
What just
UVB
happened?
rays and helps prevent visible sun
Shout out to
damage.
ESPN.
The only sunscreen with Celox Shield.
Letting commercials play. That's crazy. Zeno went 38 for 41. You couldn't do that with 3 friends in the backyard right now. If you were running routes in warm-ups on air with no defenders, You couldn't do 38 for 41. He did that in the game, completing passes to 14 different people. UAB looked great. North Carolina A&T looked hapless. Shout out to North Carolina A&T alumni. They invited me out for the barbecue. Yeah, I'm invited to the barbecue, bro. They invited me to go tailgating in the parking lot. I'm glad I didn't go this week because they looked embarrassing. They were terrible. But they invited me to go tailgating. It's close to the house, close enough. Probably not going to do it, but shout out to them. Shout out to UAB though. They looked amazing. And then Arizona State almost let it slip away. They had a lead. It looked good, 21-7 at half, and then they just stopped scoring. Shout out to Scattaboo, put up 71, not enough. Rashada looked sharp. I went back and watched the replay. Looked good. I'm really surprised. There's some people missing from their transfer portal class, not on the field, not in the 2 deep, but they won the game. Doesn't look encouraging because Southern Utah had a great wide receiver. He transferred to Texas State, so I don't know what they're doing. There's no way this should have happened, but it happened. Arizona State looks a little underwhelming. All right, that's that. Sorry for talking so much. How far are we in? We're 24 minutes in. We got 6 minutes. Let's talk. Week 1. Well, we already know Utah beat Florida. I called it. I told you guys that. Florida looked absolutely dog shit. Let's be real. Tell me what you know. Let me tell you why Florida was so bad. Florida was a terrible, terrible coach team. They were terribly coached. I saw 2 number 3s on a punt, bro. That's when the game ended. Game was over right there. You stop them. You cause a punt. They punt it. And then there's a penalty. You had 2 number 3s on the field. That's coaching, guys. First off, why are these coaches going out there and giving guys the same number on offense and defense? What are we doing? That's coaching. Some of these play calls, I don't understand the strength of your team. Even if you think Graham Mertz played decent last night, you still didn't play to your strengths. Let me explain this to you guys. I was in a fighting. I fight a lot. I was an MMA fighter. And I was in this tournament. And I was fighting in this tournament, and I didn't know my opponent. I didn't know him that well. So when we got in the fight, I took him down. I'm a grappler. I'm a wrestler by trade. I take guys down, I ground and pound them, I win the fight. So we get in there. They say fight. We're circling around in the cage. I get a takedown, and I'm trying to do a bunch of moves. I'm trying to do various moves from the mount. I'm trying to choke this guy out. I'm trying to get him to tap, submit him. I'm trying different arm triangles. I'm trying different tricks here and there. I'm doing what I can. I am a certified problem on the ground. I got this. This is my strongest suit. I feel very comfortable. This guy can't get me off him. There's nothing to worry about. But I get frustrated because I can't get any of my stuff off, and I do something ridiculous. I'm so confident that I push off, and I stand back up. And I let him get up. You know, the ref lets him up. After you stand up and disengage, I let him get up. I might have been in his guard. But we got up. And when we stood up and they separated us, he started hopping. Bouncing up and down, looking like a gold gloves boxer. His movement changed completely. And I realized that I had nullified this man's strengths at one point. And now I've allowed him to start hopping on me. Start moving around. Start working his jab. Then I'm seeing jab, cross, hook. I'm seeing jab, cross, hook, change level, hook. I'm like, whoa, what the hell? This guy's combos were fast. He looked like a different fighter. And after he hit me about 4 or 5 times, for real hit me, I realized, oh, shit, I'm in a bad spot. And I shot for another takedown. Got the takedown, kept him there till the end of the round. The next 2 rounds were very, very takedown heavy and won the fight 2-1. I learned a valuable lesson that day. Work your strengths. If you know this is your strength, stick with it. Don't change it up just because you're bored. Don't change it up just because you're frustrated. Stick with your strengths. So I ask you guys, does Florida know their strengths? Do they know what they're supposed to be doing in games to win games? I need to know. Because Florida has 2 running backs, and they gave one of them 7 carries, and the other one 3. What are we doing? If you want to win the game, I told you, if you ever want to win a game, Graham Mertz has to throw the ball less than 18 times. Less than 18 times. They threw it 44 times. They're not playing to their strengths. You got to take the guy down and stick with what works. If you let him stand up, he might just start knocking your ass out. What are you doing? You're supposed to have a 3-run monster. Instead, you start trying to throw it everywhere, and everybody goes, Graham Mertz played great. No. Graham Mertz can't win you the game. I've studied Graham Mertz at length. Let's go back to 2022 and look at Graham Mertz. Shut up. Look at Graham Mertz. They can beat inferior teams, but if they play a Power 5 team, he threw it 31 times. They lost. Threw it 20 times, it's Ohio State. Threw it 32 times, they lost. Look at the wins, though. 15 times. 29, it's Northwestern. 21, 18, those will win you games. 18, those will win you games. You throw it 35 times with Graham Mertz, you lost the game. You throw it 24, you lost. And then when they needed him against Minnesota, final game of the season, 27, you lost. You're going to lose every time you put the ball in Graham Mertz's hands. Run with your damn running backs. That's the strength of your team. Let's go back to 2021. Look at this win. Look at this streak here he had with Wisconsin. Look how many times he threw the ball during the streak, bro. 19, 15, 8, 22, 16, 23, 18. Wisconsin found the recipe. Let this guy throw the ball 15 times, an average of less than 20 times. An average of less than 20, you're going to win the game. Keep the ball in your running back's hands. If we need him to throw it 38 times, this is 2021. This is 2 years ago. Don't ever let him throw it. If we have to throw it, we're going to lose the game. We cannot be throwing it. We're going to lose the game. Why do I know the tendencies and the strengths of your quarterback and you don't? It's because Napier is a terrible coach, guys. Napier, in game, absolutely horrendous. How do you give up a touchdown to a backup quarterback on the first play of the game? I'm watching Mikey Matthews. Shout out to my call. My prediction, a true freshman wide receiver, 3 stars. The world doesn't know how to recruit. Shout out to Utah. They did. They grabbed themselves a 3-star wide receiver and put him in a day 1 starter. Where's number 0, by the way? Mikey Matthews over here, one rushing. He had 1 carry as well. 4 receptions, 34 yards. Led the team in receptions. He's just a little slot receiver. He's open all day. Shout out to Money Parks. It was right on the money, that first pass, pun intended. Micah Pittman was a little underwhelming. Everybody wants to talk about Nate Johnson. Hey, we got a speedster at quarterback. But when I watched this game, I was disgusted with the Florida Gators not playing to their strengths, not understanding what their team is made of. I'm bothered by it. I'm bothered by the way they did their thing. And more importantly, shout out to Princely Umanley, the number 1 hater on the channel. If you guys don't know, Princely and I, we talked. We made videos back and forth at each other. He was the first guy that tried to have beef with me, thinking I didn't know what I was talking about. This was well before I ever had 20,000 followers. But I told you guys, everybody's light work to me. I plan to be the biggest there ever was. And Princely Umanley got put in his place and embarrassed. And the only thing more embarrassing than what I did to him is what he did to himself last night. This man played a whole game and doesn't show up on the stat sheet. He's all zeros. Princely Umanley and I have the same amount of tackles. Same amount of passes deflected, same amount of sacks. I don't want to hear nothing. Me and Princely, we got the same sacks. We got the same stats. I'm in the living room, though. I still score more than him. Ask him. This guy's soft, bro. Pause. Back to the other Pac-12 predictions here. Obviously, we already talked about it. Let's talk about it tonight. Stanford, Hawaii. Stanford's going to Hawaii. By the way, that's a longer flight than flying to Florida. Check the duration on that flight. Tell me how far a flight is from Stanford to Hawaii. How far is it, guys? Everybody's always worried about all these flights the ACC is going to have to make. Hawaii's been doing this shit for 30 years. No problem. Tell me how far Hawaii has to fly when they fly into Wyoming for a baseball game or a volleyball match. Give me the duration on that shit. Stanford's going to Hawaii. We obviously saw what Hawaii did. They have a good team. They can score. What they did to Vanderbilt on the road. This time they got Stanford coming in. Stanford's got a rushing attack. They're not great at throwing, but Troy Taylor, their head coach, is great at coaching high-scoring offenses. If you watched Sacramento State last year, they were a high-scoring team, FCS level. Troy Taylor's a good coach. He's got his work cut out, though. He lost his entire offensive line to the transfer portal, and more importantly, he lost his entire secondary. 2 of his players went to the NFL draft. 3 of his guys hit the transfer portal. So now you're running a 4-2-5 defense. You got 5 defensive backs starting that have never started before. They were all backups last year on this terrible Stanford team. He didn't clean house like Coach Prime. He took what he's got, and he's making the best of it. And let me tell you, Troy Taylor's a great coach, and the cupboard was not bare at Stanford. Stanford has really good players in certain positions at certain times. They have a different caliber of player, different caliber of athlete, but they're still very good. They still beat Notre Dame last year. Yeah, they lost all their games in the Pac-12, but they went out, they beat the shit out of Notre Dame. I think it was like 16-14. So going to Hawaii, I think both teams are going to score. The over-under on this is 55.5. I'm still going to take Stanford to win it, though. Just off of sheer pro pedigree, I'm hoping Stanford wins. A lot of people are picking Hawaii outright. You're not going to know if you got this right or not until you wake up in the morning because this game starts at 11 p.m. Eastern. Just keeping it real. Then we got Colorado this weekend. Colorado at TCU. Look, the only way TCU wins this game is if they run their ass off. They have a great running back. Armani's going to be there. He's a good running back. He's going to average 6-7 yards a carry all season. But TCU is going to have to run like crazy. And they have the offensive line to do it. And we'll see how they match up. I'm telling you right now, Colorado matches up very nicely. Colorado improved every single position group this offseason. Quarterback's better than last year's. Running backs are better than last year's. Wide receivers better than last year's. Offensive line better than last year's. Every single position group is better than last year's. I've done videos on this at length. And TCU is actually worse at every single position group except for their linebackers and secondary. I believe they are stronger this year at those 2 positions. Their defensive line does not look strong to me. But it's only a 3-man front. They run like a 3-3-5. So I think TCU has enough firepower to stop the bombs and all that other stuff, but it's just going to be playmakers versus playmakers. Let's figure it out. Everybody's healthy this first game. I'm not concerned about the depth on the offensive line. I'm not concerned about the depth at certain positions like everybody else is. The reason I'm not concerned is it's the first game of the season. There's no injuries piled up. It's not week 7. It's week 1. Give me what you got. Put your best 11 on the field against my best 11. And I'm telling you, the players at Colorado don't know what it is to lose. They're not losers. They're not 1-11. They've never been 1-11 in their life. They're not those guys. The guys who went 1-11 are currently at Northern Arizona. The guys who went 1-11 are at Liberty. The players who left the team are gone. They're not there anymore, and they're not even FBS level players. The worst team in the history of Colorado was last year, and they only lost by 25 to an all-time great team. To a TCU team that's all-time great. Let me tell you, TCU getting blown out by 60 points in the national title game, that's the real TCU right there. Not all those second-half comebacks they did, not beating Michigan. No, the real TCU squeaks by in the second half of numerous games and doesn't look great. Now, Sonny Dykes wants to win this game. Sonny Dykes is a great coach. Who's the kid? Kendall Briles, new offensive coordinator. They have continuity concerns like anybody else. Everybody says, oh, Colorado, they brought all these new players in and they got to learn all this new stuff. Have you looked at what is new for TCU? They got a new offensive coordinator. It doesn't matter if you have all the same players. They're running a different offense. It's not the same offense. They got a new offensive coordinator. I don't give a shit if you brought back all your players from last year. They're all got to learn a new playbook. There's no continuity. At least with Sean Lewis, there's something there because the offensive line coach is there, right? Bill O'Boyle's there. 2 Kent State starters, Jack Bailey, Washington's there. Like, these guys know each other. Everybody was recruited in pairs. There's continuity. They were recruited in pairs. 2 from ODU, 2 from Florida State, 2 from Ole Miss. Like, they're just getting pairs of players. I believe in Colorado. I think Colorado covers the spread at a minimum. I say Colorado wins outright, but I believe Colorado covers the spread at a minimum. The spread's like 20 points. TCU's not beating them by 20. TCU didn't beat many teams by 20 last year. Who the hell did TCU beat by 20? Tripping, bro. They beat Colorado by 25 last year. All-time worst team, all-time great team. 25 points was the difference. TCU's not that good. I got TCU losing like 7 games this year. Colorado's much improved. You tell me how that's 20-something, 21 points. It's embarrassing. Shout out to TCU for returning their tight end. Portland State at Oregon. Oregon's going to crush them. We know that. Cal at North Texas. North Texas lost 5 of their star players, but Eric Morris is a hell of a head coach. He just came back. He was the head coach at UIW. Last year, he was the offensive coordinator at Washington State, and now he's coming back to be the head coach at North Texas. North Texas lost a lot. They lost their 5 best players in the transfer portal: Deshaun Gaddy, Varkey's Gums, Larry Nixon III. Austin Ani went to the NFL, and then Jair Shorter went to Auburn. So it's just they lost a lot of studs. I like Cal. Cal has Sam Jackson. If you guys want to see a good quarterback, you want to see a guy you like, Sam Jackson, former third-string quarterback out of TCU, just transferred to Cal to go be the starter. I like him a lot. Not Samuel L. Jackson, the actor. They're not related. Sam Jackson, the 5th. He's a dual-threat quarterback. He's nice. So let's get it going. Let's get it popping. Did I skip over Washington, Boise State? My bad. Washington's without their starting running back. Washington has one of the number 1 passing offenses. I think this is a scary game for them. Boise State's good. Taylor Green's real. Their quarterback is so good. He's from Texas. He's a dual-threat quarterback. He's real. Good luck with that one. I like Boise. But I'm going to take Washington, by the way. I'm taking Cal over North Texas. USC is going to blow out Nevada. I still like Nevada. I'm encouraged by them, but USC will look good. Washington State at Colorado State. This one's going to surprise you guys, but I'm taking Colorado State. And I know that sounds ridiculous because Washington State's been very powerful, but very strong lately. But I'm taking Colorado State. I like Jay Norvell. I like what he's doing with this program. Just brought in 40 new faces this year. Has a great wide receiver in Hudson. Torrey Hudson is one of my top group of 5 wide receivers you've ever seen. He's a mismatch nightmare. I just like where they're going. I think Washington State takes a step back, losing your offensive coordinator who's now a head coach in Eric Morris. So you've lost a lot in the coaching staff. You lost some players in the transfer portal. I think Ollie left, and I just can't think of the other guy. But Arizona, NAU at Arizona. Arizona better be hit on all cylinders. Arizona needs to impress in this game. NAU's nice. NAU starting quarterback Kai Milner was the starting quarterback for a couple of games up at Cal, the backup quarterback at Cal. So they got a Power 5 starter there. Northern Arizona, NAU, they have some good players. If you go look at that roster, it's a who's who. And then you got Coastal Carolina at UCLA. And a lot of people, it's a popular pick. Let's go with Coastal Carolina. You've got the 3-time Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year, right? You've got a good wide receiver. But you got a brand new coach at Coastal Carolina. So if you got a brand new coach, is it going to be the same? I'm curious. I need to know. I don't think it is. But that's just me. They also lost their starting center, Willie Lampkin. He left for North Carolina. They lost Josiah Stewart, their best defender. He left for Michigan. So it's just, man, I hope Grayson McCall does his thing at quarterback. But UCLA looks loaded. UCLA looks like a tough team. They should have been in the top 25 last year. Should have won 10 games. Losing their bowl game, they only won 9 games. UCLA is just one of those teams you forget. Hey, those are all quality kids. And they did well in the transfer portal. I'm super excited to see Carson Still, the 1,500-yard rusher from Ball State, just transferred in. They say they got 3 running backs. But I just like seeing Carson Still. He looks like a Viking, tall, blonde dude. I don't know if he's tall, but he's just big. And he's got this flowing blonde hair, and he's just a battering ram of a running back. Go watch the highlights. And then the Sunday game, Oregon State at San Jose State. Let me just say this. I think Oregon State is going to make USC look bad. And what I mean is Oregon State is going to be very dominant in this game. They match up really well with San Jose State. It's not like USC. They're not flashy. They're not going to put up 50 points. They're going to smash you. They're going to hit you in the damn mouth. They're a well-coached team. They have a great running back room. and they look the part to me. Oregon State is nice. I think San Jose State can still play football. They got a great quarterback in Cordero, but give me Oregon State to dominate that game. I don't know the spreads on these games, but those are all my picks. I'm going UCLA, Oregon State, Arizona, Colorado State. That's my one upset that I got to do. I got to do one upset for every damn conference. And then USC, Cal, Washington, Oregon. Give me Colorado. I got two upsets here. Give me Colorado to cover the spread against TCU. And tonight, give me Stanford to cover the spread and the win outright. And give me the over on that. 55.5, give me the over. All right, y'all. I'm done talking. It's time to talk to you guys. See what's up. Let's go to the chat. Sorry. Long-winded. Went 45 minutes. It's Pac-12. Got to go over it all. All right. Hey, if you're watching on TikTok, 94 of you guys. You got 94 over there. We got 127 over here. Total, we're over 200. Let's get over here. Get us some likes. Join us. If you got questions, hit the link. Join the YouTube. Hit like, and we'll rock it. Let's go. Questions. Good afternoon, sir. What up, Boss Omar? Patrick Hole says, who you got, Penn State or West Virginia? If you want to know, go back to the Big Ten day. I do Big Tens on Tuesdays. Go to the live stream on YouTube. Click the live stream, the little live tab. You'll see all the different shows there. Find Tuesday and watch, and you can learn all about the Big Ten. That's when I talked about them. Willie Bobo says, peace, yo, 11-2, huh? Making chips, bro. So, yeah, I'm making chips, but I'm not betting on these games. I'm making chips by my own, let's just say my own credibility. Oh, people always say, Rico, you put your money where your mouth is. Yeah, man. I put my channel, my reputation on the line. I put these things out in public. They're recorded. They're here. I can't turn them down. But we went at 11-2 last night on picks. 11-2 last night on picks. Do what you want with that. I'm not here to give you betting advice. I'm just letting you know we went 11-2 last night. Yes, week 0 went 1-4. So combined, we're 12-6. Let me know if that works for you, if you're a gambler. I'm not a gambler. Evan Kramer says, do you think Demore Kennedy will have a good season? I played with him in high school, blocking him on scout team my sophomore year. His senior year was not fun, but definitely made me better for the future. So you were a sophomore, he was a senior. That's pretty funny, man. Let me tell you a true story. First off, Demore Kennedy, transfer from Alabama to Colorado, starting linebacker. So this young man saying, hey, I got smashed in the face by this dude when he was older. Let me give you the inverse. When I was in high school, I was the starting free safety on my defense. I can remember we had a kid on the football team who was playing varsity as a freshman. Stuck out to us. And his name was Joe Giannone. And you can look up Joe Giannone. He ended up playing middle linebacker at Utah. And Joe was trying to play anything, just get on the field. And we looked at this kid, and we went, man, he's yoked. This kid was like 190 pounds as a freshman, maybe 6'1", 6'2". He just looked the part. Joe Giannone was a meat eater of a man. He was just a beast. But when I met him, he was a young kid, and I was a senior, and I kept him on the bench. And I can remember this kid flying everywhere. I can remember being at practice, this kid was hitting me, and I was mad because my competition was a freshman. I'm like, who is this kid? He was great. When we went out for wrestling, now I was a wrestler. We were the same weight class. I was the varsity wrestler. Joe couldn't wrestle. Turned out he was a great wrestler later on in his other years, but that first year, couldn't handle it. So it was the inverse. I hope I made him better. But shout out to Joe. What's up, man? Seth says, Stanford to the ACC. Do you think this is mutually beneficial? Yeah, I totally do. I think Stanford needed to be in a conference to begin with. I think there's ties there with other high academic institutions. I think it matters in basketball. Shout out to Stanford. Can you imagine Stanford and Duke? That's a real thing. What about women's basketball? This is a real, I think it's a positive for everybody. Shout out to Stanford. How many games could you see Colorado winning this season? So I've already done my Colorado predictions. If you're curious on how many games I see Colorado winning, all you need to do is go on my TikTok or my YouTube, find the playlist. Go to the homepage. Above all the videos are a bunch of rectangles. Just swipe through them until you find Colorado. Go to YouTube. Go to the homepage. It'll say playlist. Click on it. I got a ton of playlists. Find Colorado. Watch the videos. You'll see what I think. If you want to know, I'm going to get the number right. And after the season, I'm going to make an I am right video. And it's going to be highlighting a lot of these haters. And I'm making a lot of money off the haters. I'm cool with it. Willie Bobo says, the Pac-12 is my life, my oxygen, my addiction. Willie Bobo, you're on life support, bro. You're running out of time. The Pac-12 won't exist much longer. So somebody needs to find that man some support. Find a new conference. Seth, you may have answered this before, but how does conference realignment affect G5's bid for the college football playoffs? So right now, Seth, it doesn't, but it will. So let me explain this to you guys. The college football playoffs, when it expands to 12 teams, it was already written. They're going to invite the top 6 rated conference champions. That's how it's written right now today as we speak. Top 6. And the theory behind that was all 5 Power 5 conferences were getting auto bids. And then the top group of 5 conference champ gets an auto bid in. That was going to be the 6, and then they were going to take 6 at-larges. That's not good enough. Because now there isn't 5 Power 5 conferences. There's only 4. The Pac-12 is going to be gone. And so it's still written with 6. Right now as we speak, it still says 6. So that would theoretically mean 2 group of 5 conference champions are getting in. The Sun Belt and the American, you're getting in. And they can't have that because that's a huge loss of revenue when one of those guys gets in instead of LSU, right? Or Oregon or Penn State. You can't do that and let Troy in. It just doesn't work for them. So what they're going to do is they said, we're going to go back and rewrite it, and they're going to rewrite it. The verbiage is going to say 5. And once you say the top 5 conference champs, you still have ACC, Big 12, Big 10, and SEC, and now you take 1 group of 5 team, and then you get 7 at-large bids. But it doesn't say that right now. The presidents came out and said, we're not changing the playoff format until they figure out what they want to do with the ACC. Is the ACC going to expand? And what they were really saying is they're putting the clock on the ACC, and this just came out like last week. What they were saying is we want to change the verbiage for the college football playoffs, but we're not going to change it until the ACC goes out there and puts the final dagger in the Pac-12, which it just did today. So the ACC took the hint, the indirect message, and said, cool, we need to add these teams, and then they'll change the playoff structure. And this ensures the ACC gets at least 3 playoff teams, hopefully. You're looking at Florida State and Clemson, right, in 2 years. And then hopefully you can debate that North Carolina would get in, Miami, one of these hopeful teams. But that's how that works, okay? So they got to rewrite it here shortly. Have you watched tape on Flo? Do you think he will make an impact this season? So David in Arizona, if you guys don't know what he's talking about Justin Flo from California, former 5-star linebacker, went to Oregon initially. Oregon's linebacker coach actually but gets hired as the new Nevada head coach. So once you lose your positions coach, your linebackers coach, and your head coach that recruited you to come there, do you even want to be there anymore? Justin Flo didn't want to be at Oregon anymore. He's looking around the locker room. His recruiter's gone. His head coach is gone. He's a former 5-star guy. Hey, and Lanning's not playing. Dan Lanning was like, we're going to find other guys to be on the field. And just started bringing other people in the transfer portal, started recruiting other guys, making promises to other linebackers. And there you go. Justin Flo's out of the flow. He's out of the flow. No, he's out of the 2 deep at that point. So he just transfers to Arizona this offseason. Now he gets to Arizona. Remember, he's a 5-star recruit. That's all hype. Once you get to school, the stars don't matter anymore. And as of right now, as we speak right now, he's not a starter. That's what they say. He's not a starter. Is he going to be in the rotation? Sure. Is he going to see the field? Most definitely. But what type of impact is he going to have? When I think of transfers, I look at every single transfer portal class. I think of players that are going to impact your win-loss record. And if you're not impacting the win-loss record, are you really impacting anything? And I don't think Justin Flo impacts the win-loss record at Arizona. This is why I value starting quarterbacks more than anything. If you got a starting quarterback in the transfer portal, you could potentially transform your entire program, right? Arizona didn't get any transfers to transform their entire program. What they got was a lot of disgruntled guys leaving, their star receiver, Dorian Singer, leaving, the majority of their depth going to UMass, and now they're left with a bunch of young kids that are good recruits. Shout out to what they're doing, but that's where I see Arizona. I don't see Flo being that guy that you're envisioning, but he could grow into it. Review Kevin Long. He's a big playmaker on defense out of Mesquite Poteet High. Okay, it's Pac-12 day. Let's go. What's good, Rico? Hey, what's good? You know that reminded me of? Kasim Osgood. Maybe you guys don't remember who that is. Kasim Osgood, wide receiver out of San Diego State, played 12 years in the league, What's good, Rico? How you doing today, my guy? I'm doing good. Corey Flores, always spreading positivity. Kim, she just moved in yesterday, guys. The beautiful Kim Jones is in the other room doing her moderating. To give her a shout out. She went to the store today and made it a home. So she bought all new stuff. She said, dude, you live like a bachelor, bro. You're a minimalist. Let's make this shit home. So she started buying things. Feels good to have nice things in the house. I just try not to look at the bank account. All right. Rashawn Zoker says, how bad is Colorado's depth on this team? Zoker, I don't think it's that bad at all. Let's talk about it. You don't need depth at quarterback. You just need one, and you start there. Running back. They have like 3 or 4 very capable running backs. They say Hankerson's going to start the game. If you guys don't know, Hankerson was the starting running back last year as a true freshman. This is a kid who played at St. Thomas Aquinas from Florida. He's got Florida speed. He beat everybody out. That's insane. And he still did it again. He's keeping his job. He understands the offense. He's the incumbent. But they have a ton of running backs in that room that are very respectable, all very good. So if you need depth, you don't need it at quarterback. They have it at running back. Wide receiver, they have depth in spades. There's so many different guys that can play wide receiver for this team. You're going to see them all. Everybody's going to be open. And more importantly, I think Shedeur Sanders has continuity with like 5 different receivers. He has real rapport and chemistry with 5 different guys. At least when I've seen on practice, he knows where to put it on everybody. And this is a 70% completion rate passer in a new offensive scheme, a fast-paced breakneck scheme, but I just feel like Shedeur Sanders knows what to do with the ball. That's how you throw 40 touchdowns in the FCS. You can't throw 40 touchdowns in high school. You can't take a majority of these Power 5 starters, put them down in the FCS, and they won't throw 40 touchdowns down there. How do I know? I watch transfers go down there and not do it. But I've seen 40-yard touchdown guys in the FCS transfer to the FBS and Power 5s and dominate. Shout out to Cam Ward at Washington State. Just did it last year. Went from Incarnate Word, dominated there, moved up to Washington State, won 7 games last year out of Washington State. Shedeur Sanders is on that level of just dominating, and he has the receivers to do it. Offensive line. This is not a position, like offensive line does not rotate starters. It's 5 starters, and if anybody has to rotate in, it's due to injuries. I see no injuries initially, so let's just rock with the 5 starters. I think they have 5 really good players. I think they have 5 really good starters, and maybe 3 that can come off the bench and rotate in. Shout out to David Connor, the Florida transfer, Georgia kid, and Reggie Young, former starter at Liberty last year. He's sitting right there, ready to go. And I know there's like 2 more that I believe in, like Wilty. But tight end, they don't even use tight ends, so I'm not going to talk about the depth of the tight ends. Defensive line, they got 14 guys to rotate in, but their starters are legit. Dominic got 7.5 sacks last year at Arkansas in the SEC. Finished 4th in the conference in sacks. You guys are telling me that Dominic can't play? Oh, they don't have a good defensive line. They got a guy with 7.5 sacks last year in the SEC. They got McClendon, started every single game for Florida State last year. What are we talking about? This is crazy. People who talk don't even know the players. Bananas, bro. Cokes is on the inside. This is a 2-time captain at Dartmouth. Graduate transfer, 2 years of eligibility. Have you seen Cokes on film? Seen the way he talks? They got Leonard coming over from Fresno State. 6th year of college football. The dude looks like a grown man. The defensive line is straight. They got a lot to rotate in there. Linebackers, very thin. Don't get hurt. Linebackers don't get hurt. And secondary, everybody's competing for playing time. I think they got players. Here's where they can go wrong. Chad Kelly isn't great at being a defensive coordinator, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? I know Sean Lewis is an amazing offensive coordinator. He's done more with less at Kent State than you can ever believe. But Chad Kelly on defense was terrible as a defensive coordinator. At Florida State, he was terrible. He took them from a top 10 team when they won the national title, and he inherited Jalen Ramsey. He inherited like other studs, and he made that team a top 50 defense. It's not a good thing. They went from top 10 to top 50 under him. So he got fired. And then, like every coach that gets fired, you go to Alabama to rehabilitate your image. And hopefully he learned something from Nick Saban. But he was the defensive backs coach over there. Doing great in recruiting. He got Caleb Downs to come over to Alabama. Doing great in recruiting. He's a great recruiter. Can get all kinds of guys. But I haven't seen him make in-game decisions as a defensive coordinator that makes me feel good. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just not excited for it. So there could be communication issues. I want you to think about what happened to Florida last night, first play of the game. Backup quarterback, don't respect his arm strength, think they're going to run the ball. They're a run-first team. You get out there and you get beat deep, right on the money, right? Money Parks, you hit them deep for an 80-yard touchdown. And it's shit like that can happen to Colorado if they're not all in the sync, if they're not all paying attention, if they don't have the right game plan. But this is not Jackson State versus the Pac-12. These are two totally different coordinators. They didn't have these coordinators at Jackson State. So anybody who says, well, Rico, it's no. Different coordinators, bro. And all Coach Prime is doing is just managing morale, expectations, massaging egos, bringing it all together, being a resource manager. You don't have to do it all yourself. Just be a resource manager. So I think the depth is incredibly overrated. I think the way people talk about it, they don't even know the roster. I know the roster of every team in America. I would tell you if there was no depth. I just told you Kent State has no depth, and they got blown out by 50 points. This is not the same thing. Kent State got beat by 50 against UCF last night. Let me tell you something. UCF could beat TCU. Kent State couldn't possibly beat Colorado. Colorado's better than that. And those guys lost by 50. Colorado's not losing by 50. Colorado's not losing by 20, bro. Colorado's not losing. And if they do lose, you're going to walk away from that game going, oh, shit, there's a problem over there. There's a problem. Because they ain't losing a lot of games. They're going to win. Rico knows. What up, Rico? How you doing today? I'm doing. Click that like button. Shout out to you guys. Kamani Ross says, what's up, Rico? Who do you think is the projected starting running back for Colorado? It's Hankerson. I think it's Hankerson. We got another 45 minutes on the show, and then I got to go. Rico, major high school sports tonight. Who you got? Miami Central versus Bishop Gorman. It's a great game. I'm more interested in the Westlake game that I showed you guys. But I'm not going to pick. I'm not going to pick. Usually, it's high school kids. I just want to see a good game. What are your thoughts on FIU? I talk FIU and group of 5 teams on Sunday. Come back for Sunday's show. I will not talk about them now. All I know is Florida Gators are overrated. Well, how are they overrated, Zion? Who's rating them? To be overrated, somebody has to think highly of you. Who the hell thinks highly of Florida? Florida's one of the worst teams in the SEC. I said that before the season. I'm sticking to it. I know I'm right. How are you overrated if nobody thinks highly of you? Review Kevin Long. Don't ever repeat yourself, Ronnie. You'll get muted. Hopefully Colorado cash me out. Okay, don't be betting money, guys. I never recommend money betting. Don't do that. Lloyd Law. Rico, what's going on, brother? Is this a Marvin Gaye song? What's going on? Okay. Lloyd Law. Congratulations, Howard. Beautiful blessing. Yep. Shout out to me. That's my kid. David in Arizona. Congrats, Rico. Thank you. Ronnie, Texas football is way better, man. Okay. Clem Boham says, yes, sir. I'm going to my Luxembourg Casco football game in Wisconsin. We ain't got no star players, but high school football is fun ASF to watch. If I went to a high school football game, I watch the moms in the crowd. Mr. Doodle, what's up? Hi. Ronnie, review Kevin Long. Ronnie, hey, somebody mute Ronnie forever. Texas football, BSBY. Don't know what that means. Westlake's great. Always has guys. There you go. ECU is going to beat Michigan. Here we go. These guys always swinging for the fences. Connor Foreman says, 100K in 9 months during the offseason. Keep killing it. Thank you so much, Connor. You know, we got 2,000 new followers yesterday. It's what we do. It's Rico, bro. Welcome to the show. What up, Rico? What site do you watch Texas high school football games on? I watch NFHS. I have a membership to NFHS. So you pay, $14 a month, and you go and you can watch the games. It's hit or miss. Some games are terrible. Some are good. When it's the playoffs, you can go to a website. Just Google search it, and you can find all the Texas high school playoff games. I don't miss a single one. Mark Preston says, do you foresee the Utes or USC making the college football playoffs? I try not to foresee any of that. I just want to see teams win their conference, and then they can pick the playoff teams from there. You guys, if you've been watching me for the last 7 months, you've never heard me once predict the playoff teams, predict the national champ. I don't talk like that because you could be Clemson, win your conference, and it doesn't matter because other teams went undefeated. So I don't even try to have that conversation. Let the season play itself out. SMU must have had the real Texas donors in the bag. For sure, that oil money's real. 9 years, SMU, go for it. SMU's rich. They have oil money. There it is. They can absorb the money hit for sure. 9 years, a long-ass time. to get no money revenue, no TV revenue. Well, they've gone 35 years of being in the cellar. They've gone 35 years of being in the red and negative. They don't care. That 9 years of hype is real. They're going to be in the ACC playing good teams. You're going to be in Texas recruiting players who want to play Power 5 football. And after Texas and A&M and Texas Tech and Baylor and TCU blow you off, what's your next option? Well, now SMU just put themselves ahead of, North Texas and UTSA and UTEP. They know Texas State. Now they're just a notch above all those teams where before they were competing with those guys for recruits. SMU's done it. You guys saw SMU and what they did in the transfer portal? That wasn't luck. I know Rhett. Okay, if you guys don't know that Rhett Larson, their guy, but former offensive coordinator at Miami. But they dominated the transfer portal. Yeah, they got nice lunch bags, bro. They got nice little paper sacks there, straight out of Blue Chips. Chippewas or Spartans. So I made my picks. I already had a video on it. He's asking Michigan State or Central State. Or Central Michigan, I'm sorry. I say go green, go white. It's a 14-point spread. I still think Michigan State's too dominant on the defense. Shout out to Cal Halliday. I think Michigan State's going to be hard to score on. I like the Chippewas. A lot of continuity there. They didn't lose a lot of players to the portal. Jim McElwain is their head coach, former Florida head coach. They got great players, and Bracey just showed up from Wisconsin. Speedster, Stephen Bracey. Wait till you guys see him. He wrote me on the channel. He's like, hey, Rico, thank you for making a video about me. We're going to make you proud. And then he said, we got everybody coming back. We got everybody together. I said, all right, man, go do your thing. And then first game of the season, I go, oh, yeah, give me Michigan State to beat the shit out of those guys. Shout out to you, Bracey. Thanks for watching the channel and supporting me. I'm back. Shout out Stephen F. Austin. Yup, the Wi-Fi has been atrocious. Holy Joe, my bad, man. Patrick Hole says, Marist to San Diego. Okay. Mr. Dodal, ESPN is up the SEC's ass. Well, yeah, they give them $2 billion. It's obvious why they're dodging the ACC, while they're dogging the ACC. Well, they also own the ACC as well. Jason Parkin says, I appreciate the financial advice, Morantz. Kidding, man. Rico, oh, you're saying I'm Morantz? Yeah, don't ever do that. Rico, I appreciate you and your takes. Hopefully what I'm doing could be retired in 5 at 50. I'm ready for football, my man. Let go. Yeah, so Jason, I believe in something called FIRE, F-I-R-E, financial independence, retire early. That's what I believe in. That's how I live my life. You can ask Kim Jones. I got 0 bad habits, y'all. I got 0 bad habits. I don't bite my fingernails. I don't do anything wrong, and I seriously don't have any hobbies that cost money. My hobbies make money, bruh. Get at me. I don't have any bad habits. I'm ready to retire early. Shout out to you. Passive income is the way to go. Bama is going to suck this year. Okay, Zion, I don't believe that to be true, but shout out to you. We have varying levels of suck, I guess. Lewis Henton, shout out to you. Rico Knows. What up, man? Roll Tide Roll. Holton is the trash version of Tim Tebow. BTGGTV. Holton Ayers is a winner, a high school state champ winner. Won when he got to ECU. And to say he's a trash version of Tebow, I've never seen him pray once. Unk, what's up? What up, Mo Better? Tevi says, can't relate. Yeah. Never knew how funny Rico is. What up, Jesse Delgado? You got to watch the content, bro. D. Till, considering all the hype, do you think the TCU game is a must-win game for Coach Prime? Not at all. Not at all. It is not a must-win game. I think all they have to do is be competitive. All they have to do is be competitive. And if any of their errors and mistakes that occur are coachable, they'll be fine. But if you go out there and you don't compete and you just get the brakes blown off of you the way they did last season, that's a problem. But I don't foresee that at all. The players they have are not 1-11. They've never been 1-11 in their life. The transfers coming in didn't come from losing programs. It just didn't happen like that. They don't have anybody on that roster that's been 1-11 except for Trevor Woods and 2 linemen. Like, the whole team is a bunch of winners. So, I don't know what people are talking about. Not a must-win game at all. No. They must win 3 games this year. They must win 3 games. You must beat Colorado State, okay? And then you must win 2 other conference games just to show out and be ahead of Cal and Stanford. That's all there is. There's no other must-win anything. It'd be nice. I have them winning 4 to 6 games. That's what I have them winning, 4 to 6 games. As high as you guys think I am on them, I have them winning 4 to 6 games. I'm realistic. But they can beat Arizona State. They could score points. You saw what San Jose State did to USC. Do you think San Jose State's better than Colorado? Have you guys ever looked at the roster side by side? There's not a chance in hell. Colorado's way better than San Jose State. Like, it's not even remotely close. And I saw San Jose State put up 35 on USC. What do you think Colorado's going to put up? Like, you guys don't understand. Like, think about it, man. Slow down. Stop talking about 1-11. There's no such thing. The 1-11 Colorado team doesn't even exist anymore. All those players are gone, man. They're playing at Incarnate Word. Like, they're gone. It is a must. It will definitely make the rest of the season easier. No, it doesn't even impact the rest of the season. I want to be very clear. It doesn't make it easier. Every game is still difficult. Every game is still, you got to line it up and strap it up. You win that game, it makes everybody else in the country say, so what? It was luck, blah, blah. I'm going to get a bunch of haters and a bunch of excuses. That's what I'm going to get. The one thing they're going to have trouble doing is stopping the run. And TCU is going to run the ball a lot. Lincoln Riley got to focus on defense because that San Jose State game was pathetic. No, they need to focus on offense and keep scoring points. They need to keep scoring points. That's the only way they're going to win games. If TCU lose, they can't recover their season. They will lose all their big games this year. I already told you guys, TCU's doesn't have a winning pedigree. Crazy how all these people are heavy on TCU blowing CU out. It's ridiculous. I agree, Marlo. Diego Perez, what did you think of the ACU game? ACU. Alcorn State? Alcorn University? Who's ACU? I don't know who ACU is. Do you mean ASU? Arizona State? Yeah, the wheels fall off a little bit. That happens in your first game. I don't have Colorado losing, but if they lose and it's not a blowout, they're just going to beat the S out of Nebraska. No one's going to beat the S out of Nebraska. Let's be very clear. Nebraska's defense was dominant last night. Nebraska shut down a back-to-back 1,000-yard rusher like it ain't nothing. Nebraska didn't allow anybody any yards. Nebraska gave up 13 points in a loss in a freak accident. They should have won that game. Nebraska has a great defense, or they had a great defensive plan. They matched up well against against Minnesota. It's crazy. BWB, go Buffs. That's crazy. They are stacked. They stacked on offense. Defense is a dumpster juice. Slow down. Talk to me about Chris Brooks, the Miami Dolphins. Dude looks like a beast. Yeah, he made the team, undrafted free agent. Congratulations. All those promises will bite USC in the butt recruiting in the future. Zion, they don't care. They want to win now, and they'll get new teams every single year. They're not going to be bitten in the butt. What's the worst that can happen? The player leaves, and you get another one. They don't care. Coaches already learned. Why do you think all these quarterbacks are signing to Ole Miss? Lane Kiffin don't give a shit. He don't care. He just wants the best one to be on the field. The rest of them, their feelings are hurt. Go. This is a business. This ain't about feelings, promises, and relationships. It's a business. It's not about family. It turned into a business the minute there was NIL, transfer portal, free agency. It's no longer family. Oh, we're going to raise these kids and develop them. And oh, no, it's none of that shit. Get the best player on the field and let's go. You don't have to develop a quarterback on your roster. You can go get the best one out of the transfer portal. That's how they're moving. Everybody. Thoughts on new starter at Georgia Tech, Haynes King. If you want to talk ACC football, show up on Mondays. That's when I talk ACC football. Thank you, Timmy. If you watch the show, I talk about Haynes King often, by the way. So you can watch any episode from this week. I believe I talked about Haynes King. Just go to the live stream and watch the videos. I was doing well until Nebraska gave up a touchdown on the 4th and 10 with 2 minutes left. Yeah, everybody was. Killing Bird says, I don't want to hear no Central Michigan shade tonight. Okay, man. Keep that TV on mute. Kent State got spanked last night. Yep, they got spanked all offseason. They lost everybody in the transfer portal. Alamo can play. He looked pretty decent. Shout out to you, Anthony, for noticing. Only Apollo says, just heard Terry Roberts is no longer with Michigan State's program. Left Miami in the winter, now gone from Michigan State. Something's up. Yeah, I'll tell you what's up. Either he's part of the gambling probe or he's just not that good at football. So if you guys don't know, Terry Roberts is an Iowa transfer from Iowa to Miami. Didn't work out. Obviously, Miami kept recruiting defensive backs, and then they just heard, hey, Terry Roberts don't want to be here anymore. He wasn't in the 2 deep after spring football. He realized they brought in a bunch of players better than him. I told everybody I think Terry Roberts is not going to start. I did an I Am Right video on this, and then he goes up to Michigan State, and now he's not there. Mel Tucker couldn't fit him in. This kid can't play football. I hope he ends up somewhere or he starts paying taxes. Perhaps says, do you think I should trade Cup? Why the hell do you have Cup? Who did a fantasy draft for fantasy football before the end of the preseason? I'm doing my draft tomorrow. Cooper Kupp's not getting drafted, bro. Hamstring injury? I saw what JSN did. I know what these slot receivers can't put up with. These softies. Jeff Sims is trash. Okay. Why is no Power 5 conference interested in Oregon State and Washington State? Is it all strictly about revenue? You're damn right it's about revenue. It's about splitting money with more people. The more people you got to – it's like if you started a business, how many people are you going to hire? Well, I'm going to hire as many as I can afford. The more people I hire, the more people I got to pay, the less revenue I have for myself. We're not doing that shit. They don't bring anything to the table. Oregon State and Washington State do not have great sports programs. Like, how good's their basketball teams? How good's their football teams? They've been the bottom of every conference. 1 year. They won 10 games last year, Oregon State did. 10 games. But it's the first time in 20 years that they won 10 games. So it doesn't even matter how healthy your football program is. They've won 10 games one time in 20 years? That's not something I want in my conference. We're not doing that shit. Mountain West would love to have them. Is Utah the favorite for the Pac-12 this year? Not a chance in hell. No way. No way. They're just an average team beating an average-ass team in Florida. Shout out to the SEC for looking like scrubs. I've seen Vandy and Florida now, straight scrubs. IMO, Nebraska will get better with Rule. Rule is R-H-U-L-E. I'm a Michigan State Spartan fan. I don't know what that means. Thanks for letting me know. Go green. Go white. I hate when people say that. And this is coming from an LSU fan. And this is coming from a Duke fan. And this is coming from a Florida State fan. You know, I really like Georgia. And this is coming from a Bama fan. It's like, so are you telling me that you're just dumb as hell when you're not a fan of that particular team? Like, I don't understand. Is it supposed to make your statement any more valuable? That's nuts. Minnesota's PJ message gets old with players. That's why you get new players. That's why you get new players every year. You don't have to reinvent your message. This is the issue that Pete Carroll has. Pete Carroll's an incredible college coach because he's got great stories to tell, great motivational speeches, great, what's the word I want to use? Just anecdotes and just the way they carry themselves. College coaches do this, and they recycle those stories every 4 years. They recycle those motivation cycles every 4 years. That's why you get new players every year. And then you can just keep doing that, teaching them all these life lessons. Hey, let me tell you this story about this true freshman that had to walk on and do this. You can't tell that story again for 5 years. You go to the NFL, tell all those stories. They're pretty cool the first couple years. They motivate the players. They're great. And then after a while, the players go, hey, man, he don't have any more things to tell us. He don't have any more stories for us. We've been here too long. We've been here 8, 9, 10 years. This is what happened. Legion of Boom goes, hey, man, we don't even want to play for this guy anymore. He don't motivate us anyway. That's why being a college coach is so unique. You can just reinvent yourself with a whole new program every single time. Shout out to those long-tenured coaches. You think Kirk Ferentz ain't telling the same stories every 5 years? He is. I had the Nebraska money line. Please stop betting. Minnesota rowing the boat upstream against the current. Rico, I got Louisville points plus 26.5, 7.5 spread, and Plummer plus 249 thoughts. Well, I think Plummer's got to go over 249 if you want all that stuff to come true. So, yeah, there you go. That's fine. 26.5 is quite a bit. Quite a bit. Is that the over-under there? Points just for them individually? Louisville's points individually? Okay. The spread, 7.5. I'm cool with the 7.5 spread against Georgia Tech. I'm cool with 249, though. I think they're going to throw a lot. Rico, my G, ACC, travel finna be crazy. Not really. So happy SMU's Power 5. Yeah, it is. What up, Black Muns? Utah looks solid, even with a backup. Yeah, they did. What's your pick for CSU versus Wazoo? I just told you guys. I'm going with Colorado State for the upset. Now, they can get their socks blown off, but I got to pick an upset somewhere. 13 rushing yards. Yep. Is Napier on the hot seat then? I don't know how much time they want to give this guy. He's great at recruiting. I don't know how much time they want to give him. Now, let's just say this right now. As soon as they get on the field and this shit looks terrible, how many of those great recruits that gave you verbal commits, how many start decommitting? Rhetorical question, but I can tell you they're going to have a lot of decommits if they keep playing terrible. What's worse is they looked unprepared. I could understand if you lost the game because you dropped the ball didn't bounce the right way, you got an injury of one of your star players. That did not happen. They lost the game because they had 3 number 3s out on the field. They lost the game because they didn't know their personnel packages, because they weren't prepared. They lost the game because they didn't run the rock the way they were supposed to, the way they're built. They built that team to be a run-first team, and they went out there and threw 44 times. Recipe for disaster. Rico, how did Buddy play from Florida you beefed with? 0-0-0-0-0-0-0-0. Florida will not win a game. That's deep. Been telling folks Graham Mertz is not it. Of course. Damn, it could be comedy hour. You have had me erupting in laughter about 3 times. Keep pumping out the content. Thank you very much, professional degenerate. That's who I am, bruh. Upsets for tomorrow. Relax. I don't give takes a day in advance. You guys all need to calm down. Billy Napier should not be the head coach in Florida. All right, Zion. That's a hot take. Rico, did you watch the class of 21 Parkview football team? Fleet, class of 21, was that with Brown at running back? The kid who went to Tennessee and didn't work out because he was getting paid to go there, by the way. Let me know. Was that Brown at running back? Chad Brown? What's his name? Cody Brown? Cody. Kind of fat running back. And please make a Rico was wrong video about Jeff Sims. He is truly pathetic. Nebraska is well coached but lacks the athletes to complete the long run. Okay. Not happening. Only Cash 69. What do you think of Malik Muhammad, the DB for Texas, Rico? I don't think of Malik Muhammad, and it is Pac-12. Today's Pac-12. Damn, LAO. Man, I'm dead. What up? Rico, did you watch the class? Don't ever repeat yourself, Fleet. How did you watch your film, Rico, like all 22 film? No, I usually watch the game broadcast. College all 22 film doesn't really come out until draft season. They only cut up the draft prospects. You can't really get all 22 film from college teams. It's not readily available. They don't give out catapult accounts. They hide everything. It's just because they don't want the world critiquing college players because they take a lot of plays off. They don't look as good on 22 film. For anybody who thinks you need all 22 film to make accurate assessments of players or you don't put any value into it, I want to challenge you to just go watch some game film. Like people who don't watch game film and then turn around and go, oh, he doesn't even watch all 22. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Dude, what do you watch? What do you watch? You watch ESPN First Take? What do you watch? You don't know what the hell you're talking about. I do. And then I hit all day long. 5-hour flight from Stanford to Hawaii. If you catch the jet stream. If you catch the jet stream, I don't trust Chandler Morris. Nobody does. He's a chandelier. Sorry if I missed this already. What do you think about Cal this week? Spread seems light, and Cal should be favored more IMO. I don't know what the spread is, but I picked Cal to win the game. Chandler Morris lost his job to someone who couldn't make a practice squad. Yeah, he didn't really lose the job. He got injured. He won the job. He got injured and then didn't get it back. Colorado blows TCU out tomorrow. World about to be shocked. Not me. Alton McCaskill should exploit the 3-3-5 defense at TCU if they give him more carries. Right now, they're not giving him a lot of carries. They're trying to let him recover from his injury. Shador better Texas quarterback than Chandler Morris. When you're comparing two people, you put THAN, not EN. Right? Colorado going to punch TCU in the face. Shout out to you guys. T-minus 25 minutes, y'all. I don't think Alton is healthy enough to do any exploiting. Exactly. Shout out to you who got it right. How much of the Arizona State game did you catch, Rico? I caught the first half, and then I went to bed. I'll watch the second half probably tomorrow or later in the week. Not tomorrow. Probably like Monday, Tuesday. I catch up on any game I miss, any half. I catch up on them later. Let me show you guys something. You can do something. Let me just try to find it first before I pull it up for you guys. Give me a second here. I'll keep talking. I just need this thing to come up. I go to YouTube TV. I pay for YouTube TV. It's essential. It's great. And then I go to my library. Let me see if it's in my library. Yeah. So I record the games. You can record all the games. You don't even have to watch them. I record them and then go back and watch them later. So these are all the games I recorded yesterday. You can record them all simultaneously, as many as you want. They keep the games for me, and then I can go back and watch them. And I do this all season. I record the games. ESPN Plus will keep them posted all season, and I'll go back and watch them throughout the week, and that's how I catch up. So, yeah, I got to watch the second half of the Arizona State game, see what happened, things like that. I go back and watch FCS games when one of their players transfers to the FBS level in December. And then NFL draft prospects, I go back and watch all their games and all their plays. So I watch college football every single day of the week, 7 days a week, just rotating between different conferences. Every single day is a different conference. And then I watch those all day long. And then in the evening, I watch the live games, if there's live games, like tonight. But that's kind of how my schedule works, just so you guys are aware. Should Victor Vinn, Buford kid, transferred from Colorado to Liberty? So, shout out to Victor Vinn. Yeah, Buford, another Buford running back. Hey, shout out to Irvin last night. Gabe Irvin, another transfer from Buford, or another player from Buford. They both split the backfield at Buford. Yeah, he transferred out to Liberty. I hope he plays well, but no longer at Colorado. Couldn't make the too deep on the running back room. It was a deep running back room, and Victor Vinn is a good player. I watched him in high school, but he's just not dominant and not ready to compete against all those other guys. Thoughts on Arkansas? Arkansas was talked about yesterday, SEC. Go back and watch the episode. It's on the live stream. You can click live and see all my episodes. I cover a different conference every day. Don't miss your day. Monday, ACC. Tuesday, Big 10. Wednesday, Big 12. Thursday, SEC. And then I say the best for last, Pac-12 on Fridays. Tell the Poe. Louisville versus GT. I already talked about it. Rewind the show. Bro, most of the TCU kids have had all spring to learn the playbook. Don't hide after the game tomorrow either. Yeah, most of them have had all spring to learn the playbook. So has Colorado, bro. What are we talking about here? Tell these people you're not Skip Bayless. Yeah, I don't sit here and argue. Rico always knows made a lot of money yesterday because of him. Shout out to you, Tevi. Tell these people, don't ever repeat yourself. What's your Colorado record prediction? Go watch the Colorado playlist. There's one on YouTube and there's one on TikTok. You can watch either one. NAU has amazing athletic facilities too. Yes, they do. Shout out to Flagstaff. Rico, I know you should do research on Jake Williams from Elko High School. He's visited a few schools already. He has 10 total touchdowns in 2 games. He's a 2024 running back. Send me a DM on TikTok if you want me to look at players. Do not send me chat here. I won't remember. Shout out to Chip Kelly. Shout out to Chip Kelly as well, Seth. What up? Hey, Rico, what were your thoughts on Scattaboo and Rashada last night? I thought Scattaboo shared the backfield really well. Also, the Cal transfer was there. They follow me on TikTok, both of them. I am impressed with the fact that they went from an FCS school and Cal and took over the running back room at Arizona State. Rashada played great. That's how I feel. Y'all should already know Rico doesn't care about high school recruiting. Thank you very much, Zion. Thoughts on Arkansas? Never ask me the same question twice. Get out of here. Hi, can you shout out Douglas E. Doodle? Douglas, what up, Doug? What up, Dougie Doug? Dougie Fresh, 6 minutes, you're on. Do you think Malik Cunningham could be a starting NFL quarterback who reminds me so much of Greg Ward? Well, is Greg Ward a starting NFL quarterback? What the hell are you doing? Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Greg Ward, too. Not a starting NFL quarterback. Opinions on Purdue. Go back and watch my Big Ten episode. I believe I talked to them about them on Tuesday. Do you think Jawan Mitchell will be an impact player? Not necessarily an impact player. I hope he gives added depth and eventually starts contributing. Once again, impact players to me are players that impact the win-loss record. Having Jawan Mitchell, how many games was Colorado going to win? They added Jawan Mitchell. Did it change the amount of games they're going to win? Then that's not an impact player. LSU versus Florida State, who you like? That question was answered twice on Monday and Thursday. Go watch the episodes. Michigan blowing out ECU by 60 or more. Rico, Chandler Morris and Shador Sanders played in the same area in high school, and Shador was the better quarterback then. Yep, not surprised. I know all about it. LSU, Florida State, cool. Go back and watch the show on Monday. Yo, Rico, I wish you could play the green team every time, every game. The green team is a terrible team that I was reviewing a high school tape, and there was this green team on defense, and they were the worst team you've ever seen on defense. It was really bad, and so shout out to him thank you, Football Logic, for watching my content. Andrew Riddle says, who is the college team you root for? Andrew Riddle, I'm a sports journalist, and I cover 133 teams. I don't root for college teams. I don't care for their colors. When you root for a team, all you're doing is rooting for a jersey and a helmet. I don't do that. I root for players and coaches, and players and coaches move all the time. Therefore, I just don't give a shit about the team itself. I'm rooting for players and coaches. Remember that. Swaggy AC, yo, Rico, I just put money on Colorado because of you. Okay, well, when you lose, don't come calling me. Evan Kramer says, dang, no, Steve, today. Is SMU on its way back to national prevalence? Trey Cardenas. It'll be a while, but I think they're good. I think they're on the right path. Thoughts on Arkansas? Stop asking me about SEC teams. I talked about SEC on Thursday. Watch the show on Thursdays. Go back and find it. Just go to the live stream, go to my homepage, click live, and there they all are. How you think Taven Jackson does well against Ohio State? Ohio State and Indiana, talked about that on Tuesday. Go watch the episode. Liquid 9 wins. In that case, would Notre Dame need to join a conference, or would they only be eligible for an at-large bid? Yeah, Notre Dame will only be eligible for an at-large bid at this moment in time. Do the Rainbow Warriors keep it close tonight? Yes. Just not 3 points close. Thoughts on Stanford winning tonight? I've already talked about it at length. Rewind the show. Go Kim Jones. Spend that money. Slow down. Welcome to GA, Kim. Cam Ward and Shador have the same quarterbacks coach. Dogs. Charles Kelly. I've been saying the wrong name. It happens. Rico, you had a son being highly recruited. If you had a son being highly recruited, what team in the Pac-12 would you want him to go to? I wouldn't want him to go to the Pac-12. It's a dead conference. If I had a son being highly recruited, I would send him to K-State. I trust Chris Kleiman and what they're doing, and they make people men. I would send him to K-State. Is Iowa State versus Northern Iowa a trap game? Not necessarily a trap game. I think it's a game on the schedule they got to win. One good thing for Coach Kelly at Colorado is Dennis Thurman and Zimmer as defensive analysts to help him see things. Hopefully that all comes together tomorrow. We'll find out. Usually analysts analyze things after the fact, right? So you got to make mistakes first to analyze them. People talk about Colorado's depth and don't even know the roster. This is very true, Zion. Very true. Earl, the team that needs your kid the most. Whoever wants him the most, sure. What's your thoughts on Tyleek Williams? I don't have any thoughts on him. I actually haven't seen any tape on him. Rico Knows. Do you think Tavon Jackson does good against Ohio State? You're one too many days late. Go find the Big Ten video. Interested in Duncanville versus Rockledge? Should be a good game tonight. Shout out to Texas. Thoughts on Louisville versus Georgia Tech? Talked about that at length on ACC Monday. Go watch it. You're absolutely right about Colorado, Rico. Can't wait to prove all the haters wrong. Well, we're not playing in the game. But thank you very much, Todd. I told everyone on Matt B. Great's video to check you out, and a video saying Colorado's going to get pummeled. That might be where a few of them subscribers came from. Shout out to Legal Hustle King. Thank you very much. Matt B. Great. This guy has 200-something thousand subscribers on YouTube. He has given me a shout-out before. He covered one of my videos, and he told everybody on his channel, go check out Rico. That guy knows everything about football. He actually follows me. I don't know who he is on TikTok. He follows my TikTok, though, and he uses my videos here and there in his clips. Shout out to that guy. Cool dude. I don't follow other creators. I don't care what they're creating. I'm busy, but I do appreciate it when other creators recognize game and give me a shout-out. And if there's followers doing the same thing, that's what we need, right? Every single new follower I get every day, that's the potential to hit their whole friend group, and we can keep growing that way. So shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. It costs more to go into SMU and Baylor than most schools here in Texas. Yeah, so you want a scholarship. We got 15 minutes, guys. Show's going to end. I'd like to hear your thoughts about Oregon once they're in the Big Ten. Is more throwing to Dickey and Franklin enough to compete with Ohio State's offense? Well, offenses don't compete with other offenses. It's offense versus defense and defense versus offense, right? So it doesn't matter. You need to have a good enough defense to compete with Ohio State's offense. That's how that goes. It's about matchups. I think Oregon's good enough to compete with anybody. I think Oregon has the right recruiting base, the right talent, the right facilities, the right resources. Oregon's good enough to compete with anybody. Don't get it twisted. Right now, I think they're the equivalent of like Penn State. Not sports related. I asked yesterday on TikTok, but I was wondering what branch of the military you recommended me registering for. Not sure if you remember me asking on TikTok about it. Dave and Gabes, I would either go Army or Air Force. Air Force is a great standard of living. Army provides the resources for you to be extremely wealthy once you get out, right? You can be a Marine all you want, and they can brag about it, but that's all a recruiting pitch. The job you get after you get out is what matters. And what job are you going to get when you get out of the Army? Make sure you have a top secret security clearance. You get a 6-figure job and live a good life. I don't struggle at all, so you wouldn't struggle either. Good luck. You the truth, no cap. Thank you very much, Charles Cater. We plan to take over the world one day. Talking about play styles, I'm a Seahawks fan. Okay. How you feel about C.J. Donaldson? I don't. if they win this TCU game, ESPN is about to go crazy. I don't give a shit what ESPN does. I don't even watch ESPN, and none of those people believe in Colorado or Coach Prime. None of them know rosters. They don't even know the game of football. The entire channel of ESPN is just a bunch of talking heads who cater to whatever a producer tells them to. The producer in the back dictates the topic, the images they're going to show, the story they're going to tell. Nobody there has the automation to do what they really want to do and say what they really want to say. No one. They're all neutered by that fucking terrible 4 letters. I don't even mess with them like that. You don't see my shit on, dude. I don't mess with them. I just don't. I watch their games on mute. I don't give a shit what they're saying. Who's your sleeper team in the NCAA football this year? I don't have anybody sleeping. Everybody I like is I'm wide awake on. Who you sleeping on? You sleep, I don't sleep. Let's be real. I don't even go to bed at night. I don't even sleep at night. I wait. I just wait for the next day to start. People go to bed and got to revitalize and all this shit. I'm up. I'm making videos till 2 in the morning, answering comments till 2 in the morning. You can ask people, do I answer comments at 2 in the morning? Yes. Do I post videos at 4 or 5 in the morning? Yes. How the hell am I doing this? I don't even sleep, bro. I just wait. I don't even go hunting. Hunting implies failure. I go killing. I'm just keeping it real. Can you post your prop takes for tomorrow's college football games? Kyle Ferguson, no, I don't worry about that kind of stuff. I know you gave your picks for today. Who's your strongest pick for today? Strongest pick for the day would probably be Is the Louisville game? Is that the one? Louisville's going to put up a bunch of points. That's my true belief. If they don't, I'd be utterly shocked. Rico, how do you think Florida can improve? Get a new coach. Who ends up winning the quarterback battle in East Lansing this season, Rico? Is there a quarterback battle in East Lansing? I didn't know that. Is it who's the kid from John Bosco? Who's the kid from St. John Bosco? He's the starter. Thoughts on Kansas this year? You're on the wrong day, bro. Talked about Kansas on Wednesday. Good show, Rico. I have to bounce. Time for Friday Night Lights in Cartersville, Georgia. Shout out to Cartersville, home of Trevor Lawrence. On this weekend in 2007, App State went to the Big House and won. What's our best chance of something similar happening this year? There's a bunch of games, David Phillips. I'm going to talk about them tomorrow. I'll give you guys our chance to get an upset like that. If you guys don't know, App State went into the Big House in 2007, blocked a game-tying field goal or game-winning field goal. I'm sorry. They blocked the field goal when it mattered most, won the game, beat Michigan. It was also the first game ever televised on the Big Ten Network. A lot of people did not see the game. They had to listen to it on the radio because they didn't have the Big Ten Network. I saw it. I'm going to the Bama-Texas game. I'm pumped. I'm Rico. Yo, Rico, what game are you most excited to watch this weekend outside of Colorado and TCU? This is going to sound crazy, but it's Monday night. It's Clemson and Duke. I want to see Riley Leonard do his thing. I want to see if Clemson's real. I want to see Peter Woods. It's a Monday night game, so I'm excited about it. It'll be the only game on, and, yeah, let me see Duke and see how real they are. I don't expect them to win the game, but play it really good and give me Riley Leonard to do his thing. But we're going to find out. It's pretty exciting stuff. Yep, college free agency. Who are your top 5 offensive linemen in college? I get asked this all the time. Tell you guys it's not the time for me to answer it. But thank you for asking. I'll make a video at some point after the season. Rico, thoughts on Wyoming plus 14 versus Texas Tech? I talked Group of 5 football on Sunday, but I did talk Texas Tech on Wednesday. You can go back and find out what I thought of that game. I made the pick on Wednesday. Go watch the tape. My live streams are up. Just go to YouTube, click on the live tab, find everyone's sorted by conference. Says it in the title, has a picture of the conference. If Texas A&M shits the bed this year, is Bimbo Fisher on the hot seat? He's already on the hot seat. Rico, what position group is Colorado's biggest weakness? Linebacker, Chino. Linebacker and kicker. Linebacker and kicker. Can Oregon beat Texas Tech in Lubbock? Yes. It's possible. Do you think big changes will happen at Bama if they don't make the playoffs this year? That's an SEC question. Bring that on Thursdays. Alabama's losing 4 to 5 games this year. Does Dolphins Chris Brooks thoughts? You've asked me this many times. Congratulations. He's good. Texas. is beating Alabama by 4 touchdowns week 2. Okay, Joseph, I'm not seeing that happening, dog. Alabama has no quarterback. Shout out to Milrow. They have one. Excuse me. Chat jumped on me. So sorry, guys. What's your season prediction for Ohio State? You're going to have to ask me that on Tuesdays when I talk Big Ten. SMU versus Oklahoma prediction. Ask me that on Sunday. Unfortunately, the game's going to happen at some point, but ask me on Sunday. Joseph, or you can ask me on Wednesday. Joseph, but Bama is so much more talented. No quarterback. Da-da-da-da-da. Texas has 5 stars at every position on offense. This year, there is no Bryce Young to save them. Shout out to you. That's a Wednesday conversation. LO, Rico just gave $1 million worth of game. Shout out to me. Pac-12 is garbage. LMAFAO. Okay, Joseph. Joseph's in here hating all the time. He doesn't even understand what he's talking about. Could Troy Frank? Pac-12 has the most ranked teams in America. Most professional quarterbacks and most ranked teams. Could Troy Franklin be a breakout candidate for Oregon this year? There's no way to break out when you led the team in receiving last year. There's no breaking out. Texas going to beat Texas Tech by 50 this year. Dog, the only 5-star Alabama has, blah, blah, blah. Thoughts on Haynes King? That's a question for Mondays. ACC, I already answered it. Joko, yeah. Also, Bama has better coaching, and they have a better ability to win close games. Let's not be in close games. Rico, I took the over 45 in the MSU-CMU game before I saw your video, bro. I'm shaking in my boots now. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe CMU's real, and they're going to score a bunch of points. Rico, keep an eye out for Taj McCoy for Colorado on the edge. A lot of noise coming out of camp. Word. Do you think Syracuse transfer safety will help Ohio State? Jahid Carter, that's a question for Monday or Tuesday. ACC, Big Ten. Bring it on those days. Or you can go watch one of my videos when I talked about this already. Just do a hashtag Ohio State. Go to TikTok and search hashtag Ohio State, space, hashtag Rico Knows. If you got a question about a player on a team, that's all you got to write. Hashtag Ohio State, space, hashtag Rico Knows. See what comes up. Or Ohio State, space, hashtag transfer portal. And you'll find me talking about that any transfer. And that's cool. And you'll find every single video I've ever made about Ohio State and me. But you got to put hashtags in the search. Hashtag Rico Knows, hashtag Ohio State. These clowns talking like Bryce Young is there to save them. You think Penix Jr. has the smoothest throw or what? No, I don't think he has the smoothest throw. I think he's got a good throwing action. I think he's a good quarterback, but not the smoothest throw. Thoughts on Arkansas? Once again, SEC questions Thursdays. Louisville covering 7.5 versus Georgia Tech tonight. I already talked about it earlier. Rewind the show. The NCAA just announced the gambling suspensions for Iowa State. I already know them. I have an inside source. Not moved by it. Who will be Colorado's best weapon on offense besides Shador? Xavier Weaver. Xavier Weaver's him. Javon Austin. Javon Antonio, I'm sorry. Those two stick out to me. Rico, what do you think will be the difference in the Colorado-TCU game? The difference will be Shador Sanders' ability to complete passes, his accuracy. He's not sporadic, guys. He knows how to complete passes. 70% is no joke. He's very accurate. The only point you have is that Bryce Young isn't playing. Cool. Is Travis Hunter actually going to play both sides? Yes, he is. These guys are arguing. I'm skipping all that. Basically, all you've been saying. These guys are just arguing. Who you got for ECU versus Michigan? That was a question for Tuesday. Go back and find it. Where have I once said that? Thoughts on Union from Tulsa? Go Sunday. I'll answer that question. Choke Knicks will be the NFL next year. Okay. Bo Nix. You probably can name These guys are just arguing. Oh, my goodness. Do you think CMU covers the spread versus Michigan State tonight? No, I do not. West Virginia, going to have a better season. What do you mean top secret clearance for a 6-figure job? You get a top secret security clearance called TSSCI. And then once you have one of those, you can apply for any job, and you'll see job quality. When you go to like Indeed.com or any job search, instead of searching for job titles, just type in TS/SCI. Lets you know the jobs that are looking to hire somebody with a top secret security clearance. That's what it does. And then you just find all those jobs and find the one that just describes you, one that you want to do. And they'll hire you just because you have the clearance. I'm serious. And you'll make over 6 figures. It's what all my soldiers do. I have hundreds of people that work for me, and they all do that. I could do it too, but I don't want to. I would rather do this instead. Rico, what do you think happens to Oregon State and Washington State? I think they join the Mountain West. Dawson, that top secret clearance opens up a different world of opportunity. Exactly. That's all there is to it. I see ESPN arguing that Joe Burrow is better than Mahomes. Yeah, they argue that LeBron is better than Jordan and Joe Burrow is better than Mahomes, and they do this every fucking day for the whole year because they don't know what else to talk about because they have no clue what they're talking about. So all they do is like just make-believe arguments every day. Do you think Kyrie Irving's better than Dame Dollar? What the fuck are you doing? But turn this shit off. You don't even want to talk sports. Tony like what, though? Thoughts on Union from Tulsa? Don't ask me the same stuff again. Lagway will fix Florida. I think he'll decommit before he fixes them at this rate. I'll look into that. I'm about to join the Air Force, so thanks. There you go. Thoughts on when the Air Force does have jobs for TSSCI. What do you think happened? Just walk up to your recruiter and just say, I want a TSSCI. That's it. I want a TSSCI. Your recruiter will be like, are you sure? Yes, I will do whatever it takes for a TSSCI. Oh, well, that means you can't join for another 2 months. That's fine. Let's delay my joining. I want to change my life for the rest of my life. Does Justin Flo make a big enough impact for Arizona's defense this year to make a bowl game? Justin Flo does not make an impact for Arizona's defense. He's not starting. As far as I know, he's not starting. So how is he making an impact? He's going to be in the rotation and play. Dawson, anything mechanic-wise, air traffic controller, pilot, things like that, you can do in the civilian world. Yeah, you don't worry about it. Just go do a job Indeed. Go to monster.com and do a TSSCI search. Stop asking me about Union. I don't care about high school football teams like that. Garrett Green for West Virginia is a dog. Cool. This is true. What up, Rico? All right, guys. That is my time. That is my show. Thank you guys for being here. Remember, we have a college football pick'em on ESPN. I want to show you guys one last time. We are in the top 10 in the entire world. Let's go. You come in here. You go straight to fantasy. And when you go to fantasy, you go to college pick'em 2023. You can do this on your phone. You're going to go to make your picks. When you make your picks, make sure they are confidence picks. That is the mode you're looking for, confidence. It's on the far right. Once you make your confidence picks, go in here and go to join the groups. You can hit show groups. You will see Rico Knows. We're right here. We just got beat by ESPN Confidence. I don't like that. We got to beat them. But we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're 8th in the world right now for pick'ems. We got 1,228 people in the group. Let's try to win this thing. Go ahead and join us before the game starts. Today's your last day. Games start tomorrow. Good luck, y'all. Hey, remember, I can't do this without you guys. I can't do this alone. But your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.
I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make of lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of